Hi, did somebody order a podcast? It's podcast time. I'm Dave. Welcome to the Too Much Dip Show. I'm going to host. Joining me in studio, as always, it's Dylan Shivery.
I think I didn't notice the outfit change, Dave. You swapped lids. He took off a rowback hat from circling back and put on his Rangers cap. How about that?
Hey, man.
Is this sicko mode for you?
Having quite the August in Texas Rangers. Yeah, this is my sicko mode.
6 in a row?
6 in a row.
6 in a row.
Yeah, might have lost our all-star third baseman for the season, but 6 in a row. Hopefully not. Joining us via satellite, or just whatever Randy's got hooked up, it's KJ.
Hello, gentlemen. I'd like to acknowledge Dylan's hot chest today here on the video. For those of you just listening at home, you probably should check out the YouTubes. I don't know if it's just the button distribution or if the man's just got the heat going, but it's a good look.
Got some chest hair showing.
A little bit of both.
Good morning
Just a little
to you.
something for the ladies out there. Trying to get that female demo popping a little bit. You know, it's Dave sex sells,
femdem?
man.
It does. I think if you looked at the Instagram following, I think it skews female to male. Interestingly enough. Thanks, Scaries, for the shares. Yeah. Scaries and Washed. I think those are our two culprits there. But that's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. It sounds like KJ might. Jeez.
I support the femdem. Everyone knows this.
The femdem.
The femdem. That is correct. So excited about it. I got to abbreviate it to get there quicker.
What shirt is that? Because it looks shiny. Is it a shiny shirt?
Oh, no, it is not, but I can see how technology and stuff might be making that happen. In fact, it might even be a Greg Norman. It's very generic
Antigua?
golf polo. Yeah, it's probably Costco golf polo. I have no idea, to be frank with you.
I saw, speaking of Costco.
Just a reminder of our good friends at Roback that, you ship to the north too. XL.
Oh, yeah. Backer 20, KJ. Might I point you in that direction?
That's true. I'll load up the cart. Good
One-time
call.
use code. Hey, I saw Kirkland is dropping golf clubs soon.
Let's go.
So
in on that.
I don't know if you guys are in the market.
They've been doing golf balls
On the
for
market.
a minute. Might as well do clubs too.
Yeah. They look exactly like you would think Kirkland golf clubs would look. Like the branding. It's like, oh, didn't really try to fancy it up, have like a special golf logo. No, it's just Kirkland branded clubs.
The irons, I believe. I feel like I've seen them in person. Obviously, I haven't played them, but maybe next time I'm heading to the local Top Golf alternative, I'll stop by, pick up a set, and just do some chipping.
Do y'all have a Top Golf alternative?
We do. I could not tell you its name, but it's unless it's like one of those the tracker brought to you by Top Golf type things where it's a partnership. I have no idea how it is not just a full copyright infringement, but that is going to be nearby the new location of the Buc-ee's. So we just got all kinds of Texas memories up here.
You getting a Buc-ee's up there?
We're in a Buc-ee's just outside of the Madison area for those traversing between the Twin Cities and Chicago and Milwaukee, I guess, whatever major highway that is. There will be a Buc-ee's sometime in the next year.
Anytime a really popular regional place opens up somewhere
Goes
else,
elsewhere.
you're gonna have to wait at least 3 months because there's gonna be line a mile long just to get gas there, so people could say they did.
Do you remember when In-N-Out opened?
Yes, in Frisco.
And people were crying. People were like in line for like 3 hours and they were crying. They're just like
Videos of the drive-through line, or maybe just a line to pull into the parking lot. I don't really know. We're all over the TL, and they were. I'm not kidding. At least a mile long. It was really funny.
Yeah, when the HEB, this happened with HEB somewhere, and I just remember
Plano or Frisco.
I remember thinking like, there's other grocery stores.
Yeah. Just wait.
A food item, I kind of get. Okay, if you want to wait for food, that's your business. But groceries, I feel like most groceries can be found.
Well, I
at
don't
other
know.
grocery stores, unless you're going to go with the HEB signature brand.
Counterpoint would be that going to the grocery store, people are very particular about their grocery stores. It's the overall experience. It's not just what you buy there. It's getting in, it's getting out. It's the store. It's the flow of the trap. It's the whole thing, Dave.
I just don't know if I'm waiting in line to
No,
get
I'm
into
not
the
either.
store.
No, definitely not. But speaking of long lines, I did see that Whataburger announced they're opening up a location in Vegas. So,
Vegas, baby.
That is a place I might consider some lines and Whataburger.
Dave knows about lines in Vegas.
There you go. I thought that's where KJ might be going with that, but
It was.
he went Whataburger.
Okay. Well,
That's cool. People there will have a Whataburger and they'll be like, "Oh, that's pretty good.
their burgers are just fine. They're fine.
It's a good burger."
They're fried. Like their chicken is better than their burger.
That's a controversial take, but I think you and Will both have that take.
Their chicken tender sandwiches and their honey butter chicken biscuit for breakfast is fire. But if I'm getting lunch there or dinner, which I don't do too often, I'm going with chicken, dog.
He's going chicken, dog. Randy nods in approval. Randy, how was Nashville?
Like fried chicken.
J-Bone. It was good. It was fun. I had some hot chicken there. That's good.
They're known for it there.
We didn't really ask for you to chime in on circling back this morning, so I'm giving you the floor. If there's anything you'd like to say about a bachelor party that includes frisbee golf, disc golf.
I did hear someone say ball golf during the round. I don't know if they were joking or not.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
2 questions real quick for Randy. Were you actually at this bachelor party with Loki?
That was not Loki, but I did tell the guy that you thought that, and he said that's the second time he's gotten it this week, and he's never gotten it before.
Well, there was something about his very pale skin and slick back hair that was very questionable. And then follow-up question, or not even really a question, just a statement on J-Bone in general. The fact that I have not made the time and figured out how to link and build with the good man, Jared, that's a failure on both our parts, as I will venture into Milwaukee probably twice a month. In fact, I'll go pick up my father there at the airport this week. So I need to reach out to J-Bone soon and make that connect happen.
Yeah, you need a surprise drop, a J-Bone KJ pod or Instagram photo, something. I feel like
Just
feel
show
like the
up
street-
dressed like Lewis Hamilton.
you go sit in his little race car bed studio or whatever. Dude, the streets would go brazy if you did that. Don't you think, Dom?
I think so. They would go brazy, David.
Let's make that happen.
I'll look for some cheap Dickies polo, or not Dickies polo, Dickies one-piece jumpers, and see if I can't come up with a Lewis Hamilton costume to make that happen.
Definitely owned one of those after the first Eminem video. These, hi, my name is. I bought the powder blue Dickies one-piece jumpsuit. It's a true story. Don't have it anymore. Don't ask. Something we do have coming back into the fold. DraftKings live streams. We're thinking we're going to do it again Thursday nights, but the live streams will be back starting week 1. A lot of people were upset we didn't do a Hall of Fame game live stream. I just don't know if anybody needed that. I know you guys were both dialed into the Hall of Fame game. You can give your full recap here in a minute. But no, we're going to be doing a couple a month. So check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube, youtube.com/toomuchdip. Sure. We should know that. And the look on everyone's face was questionable, but you could find it. You just search Too Much Dip. You'll find us. We went viral one time. People don't talk about that enough.
Gentlemen, we'll talk about later.
Any other announcements, concerns, questions?
I don't believe so, David.
Care to talk about the demise of the Pac-12?
Yeah.
I do care. I would care. I would like to do that.
So this happened quickly.
Since realignment's Dylan's fault, can we have him lead off here?
Yeah, I've been saying that too. Go ahead and defend yourself.
Yeah, the Longhorn Network, I guess, did start this most recent wave of conference realignment, which I am not personally responsible for.
But you are reply guy for.
Okay, I reply because when people phrase it the way that, what is that podcast?
I don't know.
Necessary Roughness, the Barstool one. People say, "Oh, like the Longhorn Network ruined college football." You can dunk on Longhorn Network all you want, by the way, because it's a trash network. It's the programming sucks. Not many people have it. It airs like 2 Texas football games a year that I don't end up watching because I don't have Longhorn Network.
You can only replay the Rose Bowl so many times.
Right. But it did start this most recent wave of conference realignment. But to say that it ruined college football is really stupid because there's nothing ruined about college football. Programs are scrambling for conferences right now, but it will go on. The game will go on. We will still be able to watch college football.
Nope.
It has affected conferences. There's nothing ruined about college football. It's still a fantastic. What?
Some might say rivalries, historical rivalries that have gone away because of the realignment.
But the programs that have left have chosen to do so.
Yeah, but not like the fans voted on it. It's all what really.
It's about money, is what it is.
Wow.
So
yes.
for Texas A&M to leave for the SEC, like, oh, Texas ruined the rivalry. They left because they wanted more money, because they wanted a better quality football conference. So you can put blame on the Longhorn Network all you want. I don't really care. It's owned by ESPN and ABC, Disney. I don't give a shit. They offered the University of Texas a ton of money to name a network after them, and they accepted it. It is what it is.
Can I infer that the argument that you're referring to is that A&M left because of the Longhorn Network, and that's what started this? Like, what the Longhorn Network being created? What was the next domino that fell? I'm curious.
I mean, I suppose it had to do with like distribution of revenue within the conference and how it was extremely lopsided in favor of Texas. The SEC was like, "Hey, A&M, you can hop over here if you want to. We want a little piece of that Texas market," and they took it. It's revenue distribution, which is maybe that's unfair. It's whatever.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know the full rationale between blaming the Longhorn Network for the demise of college football. Maybe I should just go check out the tweet and/or podcast that you're referring to.
I don't even know if they get into it.
Yeah, I think it's silly. I do think that Dylan is justified in his defense. Like, it's not an accurate attribution. Like, that's all like completely ignoring the Big East disappearance years before that. For those who remember that Miami jumped from the Big East to the ACC, and I believe maybe like a different jump there within. I'm oftentimes love to laugh at the photo of the Big East that when they tried to save themselves, which included San Diego State, SMU, and UCF.
Dude, what a squad. What a roster that would have been.
That was an effort to try to stay out of the grave. And the Big East exists in basketball, but obviously no longer in football. But fast forward to today, I guess the most recent, we're talking Pac-12 specifically. I find myself wondering, like, who really is actually happy about this? And I said this last week, there are a lot of like conference stands excited about the demise of another conference or whatever. And I can understand like being excited if you were like, you thought your conference was under the gun before and was last in line. And now you know that you're one of the stronger conferences, whatever that means. I can see that joy, but like people are celebrating this like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. Like, I don't think that anyone's going to have the mental capacity to be like, oh, well, how do I actually know who's the best in this 18-team conference next year?
18 teams.
And if there's only one champion, like you're going to get so many teams that are very strong that are irrelevant. It kind of happens in the SEC, and then you overvalue like 2 to 3 teams each year just because it's too difficult to tell who was really the best.
I have to say, over the last year or so, when this all kind of kicked off, Twitter, you'll be shocked to learn, or what X, as it's known now, has become a great place if you are a Big 12 homer versus a Pac-12 homer to go back and forth, to chirp at the beat reporters covering that, to talk about TV deals and all sorts of stuff. Like, people are very, very, you'll be shocked to learn, there's a lot of tribalism within the college football world. And much of it plays out on X, on Twitter. And yeah, I'm seeing a ton of dunking on the Pac-12. Me being a cuck, I kind of feel bad for the Pac-12. I feel like not so much the higher ups, but I feel like there's a lot of people that'll lose their jobs because of this, right? I feel bad for student athletes that are stuck in one of those schools who, I mean, they could always transfer out, but I mean, they're kind of tied in now,
So,
at least for this year.
like the core reason for the Pac-12 kind of dissolving or being in the state that it's currently in is that basically that there are not enough big markets there, not enough eyeballs on the programs there, and so the TV contracts that were proposed to them were kind of dog shit. Is that kind of the basis of why this is happening in the Pac-12?
Yes, I believe so. And I know there was talk of like
So the
subscription services
So-
for the Pac-12.
so the Big Ten-
Let me
like-
fill in, I guess, a little bit there. I guess the easier way to think of it is kind of musical chairs. You've got 4 network wow, accent jumped out. Network television channels: ABC, CBS, Fox. What am I missing? NBC. In the Big Ten's agreement that they struck was with CBS, Fox, and NBC. And then on top of that, SEC pretty much locked up ESPN and ABC. ESPN also covers the rights of like your AAC along with like CBS Sports Network. There weren't enough network slots to go around once the Big Ten stretched its rights across 3 different networks. That really screwed things up. So when it came to the Pac-12, whose previous rights were with, I believe, Fox, which
Mhm.
that was expiring. And I don't know if they had another distributor, maybe ESPN, but like once those deals came up, the only hope that they had was coming up with either an alternate network that would say, okay, you're going to be our crown jewel, which it's going to sound stupid, but like if the Live PGA stuff like didn't go so poorly, or if Live had kind of worked, I bet CW would have been like a player in this. Like the influx of money from Live, if that would have seemed like it was going to be a long-term thing, that's a channel that's on enough televisions around the country for free that would have been able to throw their hat in the ring here. Of course, then you talk about who has the money. Amazon didn't want any of it, and Apple talked about it because obviously Apple has a product to sell. Hulu's owned by Disney, so again, that's tied into the others. So then Apple puts out a deal that was based on subscription performance. Initially was rumored to be about $15 million per team per year, which would have put them like $20 million a year behind the worst conference, which I guess would have been the Big 12 in their deal. Turns out it was really like $25 million a year, Big 12 being at 30. And if they would have hit certain thresholds, that could have jumped as high as like $50 million a year. Now, nobody expects like universities to sit here and think like, oh, we're going to play in a performance-based system with the least populated segment of the country with the worst time zones from a national television standpoint and go on subscription base. Like that ain't going to happen. You're not going to shift your games to Tuesday through Thursday if you're Stanford, like, and play the action game. Like, so they just ran out of options.
Yeah, I think their best bet might have been just to like go to Patreon, but then they might get like a cease and desist from their like former parent company or something. I don't know. You never know.
I mean, that's what the Apple plan basically was. They were like, hey, you hit these subs, here's your check.
KJ, thanks for explaining that in a much better in-depth way
Dude.
than I was trying to, because that was good.
I was vibing on that, man.
Yeah.
I was like, you were teaching me.
Dude was spitting.
I don't know. All of that said,
Yeah.
like, I think Dylan brought up a good point, referring back to the tweet thread. I don't know if you mentioned it just now, but to your credit, people are still going to love college football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing broken about it. Nothing's ruined about it right now. But as me being old man who yells at clouds saying like, oh, I like having more bowl games and I want to see more teams compete for meaningful reasons. Having 16 and 18 teams in a league quickly makes you like devalue
Oh,
that
absolutely.
middle chunk of your conference. And I'm like, that's really going to make me feel weird about like wanting to follow a team who is not going to get any respect nationally because only people are going to care about Ohio State
Yeah.
and Michigan at the top.
There might be a team, 5 states away that you share a conference with that you're going to play once every 6 years or something, or once every 4 years, whatever it might be. And it's like, oh, hi, I forgot we were already in the same conference. So it loses some of that like camaraderie feel. 18 teams is just way too many.
But dude, how horned up for
That's the
Oregon
second
Rutgers are
time.
you going to be?
That's another thing. Oregon has to travel to New Jersey to play a conference football game. Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah,
I threw that snippet in there really
It's ridiculous,
quick.
man.
I'm
Shouts
looking
to
at
the
that.
Athletic for the names. I won't use the names here, but they did lay out some longest distances. Oregon Rutgers at 2,920 miles apart.
That's a flight.
Washington, Indiana at 2,297. Arizona UFC or UCF, not UFC, at 2,044. And then Colorado, West Virginia. I don't know why that feels less weird. They named it the John Denver Classic, but 1,480 miles apart.
Mhm.
Did you
It's
see
a lot, man.
I saw a personality. No, it wasn't a personality. Was it the president or like the AD of Arizona or Arizona State shitting on Morgantown?
Really?
So that's news to me.
What did this
but I
person
hope
say?
they did.
I should probably find that before I bring it up on the show, but hey, if you guys will stand by, ASU leadership and some media may joke about going to Morgantown or Ames, but hundreds of Big 12 fans follow me. I think somebody at ASU made a comment about like, man, yeah, there's a lot of cool places to visit in Texas. I look forward to going. I'm probably not going to Morgantown though. I think that was the gist of the comment. Arizona AD Ray Anderson discussing the move to the Big 12. I promise I'm not going to Morgantown. I'm going to assign that to Deputy AD Gene Boyd. He can go to Morgantown, but send me to Texas and the rivalry with Arizona and starting a new one with BYU, Utah, and Colorado. Guy just doesn't like Morgantown.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Good college town.
I know.
Not that I'm saying I want to
No.
go there, but
It's like a exo suburb of Pittsburgh. So
what are you saying?
What do you expect there?
I just don't know if
I feel like that's what Ohio is too, but whatever.
You know what? Props to this guy for already throwing a little gasoline, creating some new rivalries.
Yeah, that's true. It does feel very, speaking of Eminem, like, I don't know, what's the guy from Everlast, like just attempting to start a beef for the attention, Whitey Ford. Like, that's what that feels like. Just reaching for some hate attention.
I didn't have Everlast coming up on the show today. I'm going to shoot everybody here straight. But, you listen to this podcast long enough, then you might know what it's like.
Well done. Well done.
I'm excited.
Any last thoughts on what happens to the remaining four? Not to cut you off the pass, but I do want to ask a question about, like, you've got Cal, you've got Stanford, who wins national titles in a lot of sports each year. Football, they've had some highlights.
Golf.
Washington State is out there, and then Oregon State, who notably David C. Ruff was big on Oregon State in the 2022 college football season.
It was.
I mean,
Served me well.
Cal and Stanford, those are both like very legitimate athletic programs, like all around. I don't know how much of a draw they have eyeballs wise, but it's crazy to think that programs like that wouldn't end up in just a really strong position. But who the hell really knows?
Yeah,
They got money.
but like at the end of the day, I mean, KJ, you were saying this to me earlier. You look at Cal, what they're all about, Stanford, what they're all about. You go woke, you go broke. That's what KJ was texting me.
I'm going to add that to the rundown.
So you go broke, you go woke, you lose your conference.
You were just replying back with Greta Gerwig comments about Barbie hitting a Billy.
Haven't even seen him. Oh man, that's good. No, I sneaky do kind of love Oregon and Washington in the Big Ten. I will say that. I don't know how often this is going to work out. I'm sure they've talked about it. I just haven't read it, but like an Oregon Ohio State matchup, Oregon Michigan. That's really fun in theory.
I don't mind like the additions. I think that it's just weird to think that there's absolutely no way to relegate. Or if you're the Big Ten, shouldn't you just be like, hey, Rutgers, this has been great. Go the fuck home. Or whatever.
Randy's
to some
nodding.
of the teams who bring nothing to the table.
Any other schools?
I know. I won't say Purdue. But I think that there should be a way for them to say, yeah, we really like the number of 16. And we will gladly take Portland, Seattle, and 2 teams out of LA. And maybe not West Lafayette.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have much else on that. Sorry. There's a lot. Oh, you know what I did want to bring up was Reggie Samples recruiting Texas now, recruiting for the Big 12. KJ's nemesis, Arizona State running backs coach and son of the Duncanville 6A football state champion Panthers. I'm just saying, watch out for Arizona State.
That dude can recruit.
It makes you wonder how much they knew about this in advance. Like, I genuinely could be sold on the belief that the campuses or universities knew that there was a potential for this move, and they recruited and or hired based on that. Like, Samples would bring a higher value when you're recruiting out of Texas, playing in the Big 12.
We might need to have Mike on. Mike Roach.
We absolutely should.
We should have Mike Roach on in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll have him on the
Let's
first
do that.
live stream.
Maybe we can have him on for a live calling of the Colin Simmons commitment on Thursday.
Man, I will let you guys know when Colin Simmons responds to my DM, because I have given him the platform if he wants to announce live on the Too Much Dip Instagram.
God, I just gotta feel like he's not gonna do that.
You never know, man. It's from one Duncanville guy to another. You never know.
Say, hey, fellow Panther here.
Yeah, hey man, Panther for life.
What's up, Colin?
No, I whispered Panther for life. Let's see. Anybody else watch Jake Paul, Nate Diaz?
No, I didn't. Cut a highlight here and there. How'd it go, Dave?
I have to say, the fight itself was entertaining. Mainly from the standpoint of you had your classic Nate Diaz shenanigans, just kind of being a showman in the ring. You had Jake Paul, who held himself pretty well. Won the fight. I don't think anybody would argue that he lost. But I think the biggest shocker was just Nate Diaz didn't look very good boxing.
I don't know a ton about Nate Diaz, but I have seen him fight before. Where I know of him. He used to be in much better shape than he's currently in, from what I can see.
Well, he's never been a guy who's been ripped up. He is
Also, what's his game? He's not a boxer.
jiu-jitsu, but scrappy. He's jiu-jitsu black belt. He is a guy who he's lost a lot of fights. He lost a lot of fights in the UFC. No one has done more with the career, like a record like his, which is nothing to brag about.
Mm-hmm.
But he has. What made him was the Conor fight. Those first 2 Conor fights, the only 2. But I watched it. I watched the undercard. Was glad I did. Didn't pay for it. But yeah, it just kind of looked like he didn't train too much. He wasn't really throwing any punches that had anything behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul is a huge dude. Nate somehow looked bigger. Kind of maybe speaks to what you said about him being out of shape. I don't know. He's a dude who trains by doing triathlons. The Diaz brothers are known for doing that. And that's kind of what you get. He smokes a lot of weed. He's pretty open about that throughout training camp. He doesn't care. That's kind of what makes Nate Diaz fun, is that he doesn't fucking care. But yeah, he lost that fight, and I don't really want to see a rematch. I know that the talk is a rematch in the octagon, MMA rules, which in theory Nate wins that handedly. But you never know. Jake Paul with smaller gloves might be a real problem. I really thought Nate was going to get knocked out. He did get knocked down, got right back up, but I didn't think Nate was going to make it to the first round. That first flurry, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights, but he was taking some huge shots.
Who's the most legitimate fighter Jake Paul has beaten? Because it seems to me he keeps picking these guys at the tail ends of their careers, or maybe
He does.
they're not, strikers, but he gets them in a boxing ring. Guys that are not at their best.
The most legit fighter he's faced,
Lost to, right?
most legit boxer is Tommy Fury,
We lost to.
who he lost to.
Okay.
And Tommy Fury is not a good boxer.
He's not a tier 1 draw.
I've seen Tommy Fury on undercards like win fights that he was supposed to it was like a tomato can type, just kind of like, all right, get a fight under Tommy's belt. And he didn't look good at all. And then he beat Jake Paul. What Jake Paul's got going for him is he hits hard. And that's like his whole game. He's got good footwork, man. He's not bad, but it's not that shocking that a guy with his means and the time he has devoted to training, like you could get good at boxing.
Mhm.
You could get good at pretty much anything if you had the time to devote to it. KJ, were you surprised? Were you surprised to see the performance put on by Jake Paul and Nate Diaz?
I think it only makes or surprises me at how many times I can just be an absolute. I feel like cuck is too strong, but just absolute idiot reading any headlines related to fighting, much less celebrity boxing matches, because there was some stupid note about questioning Jake Paul's like conditioning and being ready. And I didn't watch the fight live, but I did go back and check it out Sunday morning. That was all BS.
Yeah.
The guy is, as legitimate as you can be when it comes to preparing and executing and fight. So at this point, he's a fighter before he's a content creator in my head.
Well, you're always gonna look bad when up against Nate Diaz on the cardio front because no one has better cardio. That's why Nate may have stole some rounds at the end. Never a chance of him like knocking Paul down, I don't think. But yeah, to your point, Jake Paul's never fought 10 rounds. His fights never last that long. I think initially this fight was supposed to be an 8-round deal, which would have benefited him because that was Nate's whole game plan, is to get him out in the deep water and see if he can keep up with him conditioning wise. He couldn't, but that's okay. All in all, decent product. I was kind of contemplating a late Saturday drive up to Dallas to go to this because it's like, oh, it's in Dallas. It's at the AAC. I could just go stay with my parents, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm very glad I did not. But it did look like there were some celebs out. I don't know if you saw. They had Saweetie. You familiar with Saweetie?
I am familiar with Saweetie's game.
She was an honorary ring girl.
You could have caught the Messi soccer game too while you were up there.
I could have. My nephew did. We'll party on that here shortly. Yeah, I was very. He got some good seats too. I gotta figure out how his dad landed that. Any parting thoughts on the world of celeb boxing? Dylan brought up the UFC fighters and how Jake goes about picking his opponents. He's very smart in that front. His camp is because they don't pick any UFC fighter who is in his prime, and they tend to pick the ones who aren't boxers.
That I agree with. I still, we have one rule on this show. It's don't fuck with Nate Diaz.
It's true.
Jake Paul broke the rule and he won. There's somebody has to say yes. So Diaz said yes. He collected the bag. He fought. There was no half-assing it here. There's no question about the effort put into it. At some point we have to tip our cap to the guy. I will be very intrigued to see. It just makes me want to see Tyson Fury and name's escaping me. Usman. Nope, not Usman. Fury and Ngannou this fall, because that is going to be a more legitimate version of seeing completely two different styles compete, somewhat in their prime. So I'm excited to see that executed. Not to just produce on the fly, but do we want to go ahead and Watch what I do here. Knock out our other fight discussion really quickly here. Or should we
I think that's
jump
good.
into AG?
I
Okay,
think
yeah.
we got-
What's our other fight?
We gotta pour one out for our guy Tim Anderson. Randy, I don't know if you have any thoughts, concerns. This does affect you deeply as a noted White Sox guy.
I like the way he squared up. I don't like the way he finished.
Yeah. It looked good at first. It's like, oh, okay.
Did it? Isn't he right-handed? His stance was backwards.
I
Oh,
don't know.
He was
maybe he
right foot
fights
forward.
right and right's right, but bats and hits left.
Southpaw.
Or bats and
His
throws left.
form was no. He lined up like a lefty and started throwing rights right away. It was pretty terrible form.
Okay.
Just thought I'd nitpick since we were talking about his form.
Yeah, I thought. Well, maybe he knew something that we don't. All I know is Jose Ramirez threw. That is like the ultimate like brawl Hail Mary punch. It's the head down,
Oh, he got lucky.
overhand. Like if it lands, it's a problem. If it doesn't, you might fall down with it, and you are
Mhm.
definitely going to be off balance, and bad things are going to happen to you. So shout out to him. We haven't seen a punch land this squarely since the Rugi Odor Bautista.
He caught him, but it didn't look like it was a devastating blow at all. I'm surprised, that it knocked him down. When I saw it happen, I was like, oh, he was off balance, and he caught him kind of leaning one way, and then he stuck him a little bit. But then when he wobbled, like trying to walk off the field, I'm like, oh, he actually stuck him really well. It didn't look that way in the video. A total lucky punch. He was just kind of, his head was down. He was just flailing, kind of swinging, and connected. There's an excellent call. I don't know the broadcaster that had the Anderson down call, but it's phenomenal. I don't know if this is the video we have queued up or not, but it's definitely worth a watch and listen.
Well, I will say, and Randy, if you want to hit play on that, I don't know if we have the capabilities, but I would imagine he didn't see this punch coming, which leads you. Oh yeah, he just straight up didn't see it.
Yeah.
So when you don't have time to even like slightly brace for it, that can turn your lights off. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him wobbled like minutes after, like having to get walked off, because I guess I'm just so accustomed to watching professionals get knocked out, then get up and then go like shake hands and stuff.
Yeah,
Like it's nothing.
just at first glance, it doesn't look like he connected like Odor did.
No.
Like that one looked more devastating than this one, but this one, the Odor punch didn't even knock Bautista down. So
It did knock his helmet off.
yeah,
And it the Odor punch was beautiful because
visually,
he feinted the jab and then just came across with just a straight right, and it doesn't get any better. And then Rugi's career went nowhere, but he did get the bag, so shout out to him.
He got paid. He had to shave, get paid, and buy some horses.
Yeah, shout out to John Daniels.
Tim Anderson suspended.
Shouts to go ahead.
Tim Anderson suspended 6 games. Jose Ramirez 3. This is
Shouts to
per
the great Greg Tepper,
ESPN.
editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, with a note that on second base that day, when Rugen Odor threw his punch, Elvis Andrews on second base for the Chicago White Sox. Elvis Andrews.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
fun
So-
little note.
Yeah, well, he's a known rabble rouser, shit stirrer. God, I love Elvis. I hate seeing him play in Chicago. No offense, Randy, but God, I don't want to see him dwindle away. His last remaining years out there.
Both fights occurring at second base too.
Have you guys followed Tim Anderson's Twitter behavior in the days, hours since?
Fill us in. I have not.
Getting a little cryptic. Getting a little cryptic. 20 hours ago tweets, all this happening for a reason, ... I don't know if this is like a God's plan thing, or I don't know, a conspiracy that I'm not aware of. Then he hits you with staying focused with this shit, been going through this shit for a minute, keep kicking on me while I'm down. A lot of MF been switching up too. # fake shit. Dylan, you've been accused of switching it up.
Tim Anderson, noted former power hitter. I say former because in 353 at bats this season, he has 1 home run, Randy.
He's got no protection in that lineup. I don't know.
That wouldn't explain the one home run.
No, not really. Y'all got me effed up. Okay, and then my favorite one is just hope you picking up what I'm putting down too. Like, no, we don't.
He's going through
What are
it,
you
man.
saying?
Don't
What
have
do
to read the tweets verbatim.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, what are we? What's the? I don't know. Like,
I guess
he's concussed.
we can all agree Tim Anderson would not be invited to defend the dock in Montgomery.
Do we just need to do another segment on that today?
No.
Have you watched all 16 camera angles of that?
We'll break that down for our opening live stream. How about that?
I mean, seriously, I spent the first 45 minutes today just watching all of the different angles. There's never been a street brawl more perfectly captured on phone. Like, it's just, you have literally any angle you could possibly want. Yeah, I don't have anything else on this. I feel bad for Tim Anderson. When you get like once every 10 years, there's a good baseball fight where people actually throw punches or get tackled. You don't want to be on the end of it that gets knocked down and then carried off the field.
Yeah. There's not a sport where fights are quicker to be broken up than baseball. You know?
Agree.
Why is that?
I don't know.
We've had some slap fights in football that have gone on for a little bit. Hockey, obviously, that's just part of the game. Baseball, it's
Basketball usually gets broken
Yeah.
up pretty quickly too.
yeah.
Baseball, it's funny. I know it's like a trope, but like just when the bullpens run out.
Yeah. By the time they get there, the fight's been over for 20
It's like,
seconds.
hey.
Yeah.
But you got your
gotta,
jacket still on, your hands are in your pockets, you're trotting out there.
You got to show effort, though. It's just
Yeah.
part of the game.
You don't want to be the dude who stays behind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, they'll figure it out. I'm just going to stay in the dugout.
On the flip side of that, which sport has the most fan fights? I feel like it's baseball that has the most fights in the stands of fans.
Soccer probably
Ooh,
on a
soccer's
worldwide
probably a big
level,
one.
but baseball, California definitely carries the boat on this.
Yeah. I was thinking.
I feel like some Cowboys fans like to mix it up a bit, too.
Yeah. You usually see Cowboys fans turning on each other.
They have jerseys on.
It's always, oh man, you always see people slipping and sliding, spilled beer and stuff. It always ends so bad.
Never get in a fight with someone on the row right behind you because they have the advantage. They have the height advantage.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to do that.
Mm-mm.
Guys, would you mind if I talked about our good friends, our partner, AG1? Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day. I had it this morning. I drink it on an empty stomach right when I wake up. Helps absorb it.
As do I. It's the best way to start the day.
I am always looking for ways to better myself. I'm looking for gut support, maybe something that supports my immune system, maybe a boost in energy. That's why I gave AG1 a try. It's phenomenal. I drink it every morning, like I said. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/bang. That's drinkag1.com/bang. Lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. And Dylan, you'll love this, contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And you don't have to take a ton of vitamins, right? You just drink your AG1 first thing in the morning and you're good to go. Go to drinkag1.com/bang. That's drinkag1.com/bang. Check it out. Happy Colin Simmons commitment week.
Who's Colin Simmons, you might be asking
The aforementioned
yourself?
Colin Simmons.
He's the Duncanville Panthers defensive end who's deciding between LSU, Texas, and A&M later this week. It's a big deal because he's the #1 defensive end in the nation, and he's also a fellow Duncanville Panther, like our boy Dave right here. A lot of people think it's between LSU and Texas, and it's kind of a big deal because when a guy of that kind of status commits somewhere, it tends to create a little momentum for that program on the recruiting trail. So big day Thursday, 2:00 Central Time, he's announcing. And we hope he picks Texas. Well, I hope he picks Texas. I know Dave disagrees with me there, and that's okay.
I didn't say that. I don't mind. I mean, I will support him wherever he goes. I don't think Texas State's got a chance at landing him. I'm
Didn't-
not sure. Maybe Mike Roach knows something we don't know.
Didn't make his final three, unfortunately.
No, but you never know. There could be a wild card. Maybe GJ Kinney drops that bag.
He could be the piece that they're missing.
Hit him with hundreds of dollars,
Mhm.
NIL money.
Yeah, big deal.
It is a big deal. You also got also from Duncanville, Caden Durham, the
Yep.
4-star running back.
Announcing same day.
LSU, OU are the two.
I think A&M's in there too.
A&M's in there too.
But yeah, I think he's picking between LSU and OU mostly. Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. Don't feel great about it, but I will be paying close attention.
Will you do me a favor? Will you promise to, no matter what he chooses, respond to his tweet and say, "Hey, Texas fan here. Sucks you didn't choose us, but like, I just want to let you know, like,
Hey,
wish
man,
you the best, dude."
You're a good kid. Yeah, good luck in the future.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, don't tweet at recruits, guys.
God.
Don't do that.
What if all I want to let the guy know is just know you can always come back home. Pony up.
He did have a teammate.
Please respond with that.
He had a teammate, a safety, I think, from Duncanville,
Yes.
who committed to SMU recently.
That's right.
Correct.
Dotson, I
Correct.
think his last name is.
That's right.
And so
that
when
place-
somebody asks, what's the sleeper team that's not listed in this graphic that explicitly lays out your finalists, he responded back, I don't know what you want to call the zipper face emoji. It's a Slipknot special. But no, the
About
one with
SMU?
the zipper mouth and then the pony up emojis. And it's like,
Let's
I don't
go.
know. Maybe. Absolutely not happening. I think it's
This is
saying,
Colin.
shut up.
This is
SMU.
Colin Simmons.
That is Colin Simmons. Correct.
Duncanville has become just an absolute factory of athletes. Of course, I got my favorite 5-star sitting next to me right here, Dave Ruff,
Oh,
class of 02.
I'm a 2-star.
No, come on.
Founder of the Swing Academy.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Highly recruited. Always hated on. Number one most hated at Duncanville. It's that boy, me.
Let's do soccer L's real quick.
Got a couple L's to talk about, Davey. Miami lost that game?
There was greatness up in Frisco last night. I think their stadium's in Frisco, isn't it? Is it still Pizza Hut Park?
No.
I've been there once. It was for Jimmy Buffett.
So I haven't been paying attention to Messi with
Played
Miami,
there.
but from the highlights I've seen, he's putting on a show every single game, and it's absolutely electric.
It is well worth the price of admission, I think. Will and I were talking about this earlier, like assuming he comes to Austin next year, like how much we'd be willing to pay just to go be involved in the Messi scene.
Worth it.
Yeah,
I think-
I'm not going 4 dig
He's
for a
the
footy
GOAT, man.
game.
You get a chance to see the GOAT in your backyard. I think you got to be there.
Yeah, it was a pretty miraculous comeback. Wild ass game. I don't know. I'm assuming no one really actually watched the entire thing. I tried to watch it on Apple TV.
Miami won?
No, 4-4.
Oh,
Yeah, all this for a tie.
yeah.
That's
That's a lot of scoring.
PKs.
They won on PKs.
Correct. Because this was a playoff game.
I don't know shit about this. I just know my nephew was there.
FC Dallas got up 4-2, including an own goal by
Saw that.
Miami and our intern Miami. I always want to say enter Miami. But then an own goal by FC Dallas made it 4-3, and then basically with no time left, Messi tied it up to take it to PKs, or
Free
maybe
kick.
it was extra time then PKs. I don't know how it played out, but ultimately, Messi also scored again and PKs, and they won.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
PKs.
sad for my my FC Dallasites, but you know, happy it was a fun time for everybody there. Did not realize it was a playoff game. Interesting.
Correct. That's why it was very sudden. And I don't think we talked about them coming to Dallas. But it was if somebody wins, somebody loses, and it happened, and boom, Sunday, Dallas, Messi, and Bob's your uncle. So, but I really want to talk about the really the focus of all of the world and the equal rights activists and
Donald
equal pay activists.
Oh no, Did he chime in on this?
Nice shot, Megan.
Okay. No, he didn't.
I swear, on True Social, that's
Was
what
this?
he posted.
He hit us with the truth.
Look it up.
Oh, KJ,
We
how does
didn't
that make
talk
you feel?
enough or at all really about the Women's National Cup or Women's World Cup. I'm sorry, not National Cup. Maybe we briefly mentioned it last week.
Would you like?
The 4 a.m. and 3 a.m. starts lost me.
Yeah.
So when the first push notification I get is U.S. Women's National Team comes up short, I was like, all right, well, I'm not even going to go back and attempt to enjoy this. But Twitter was up and not happy.
Would you like for me to read the Truth Social post from one Donald J. Trump?
Call it a truth.
Please do.
If this is fake, I really hope it's not fake. I don't think it is. I've seen multiple people post it. Some with who seem to be reputable people. Anyway, the quote unquote shocking and totally unexpected loss by the U.S. women's soccer team to Sweden is fully emblematic of what is happening to our once great nation under crooked Joe Biden. Many of our players were openly hostile to America. No other country behaved in such a manner or even close. Woke equals failure.
Okay.
Nice shot, Megan.
Oh.
The U.S. is going to hell, MAGA.
Oh man, that's a very grim truth that he
So.
just dropped on us. Nice shot, Megan.
Nice shot, Megan.
Is that how he closed it off, or was that a separate truth?
That's all one post.
Okay,
God, I really wish it was a live post.
me too. I was going to say I'm not one to criticize. I can't criticize the content that the Orange Man puts out there, but
I'm also
I feel like just a simple "nice shot, Megan" with nothing else would have done it.
I'm seeing that one too. It does just say nice shot, Megan. But I don't know if this one has been edited at all. So it's possible he also tweeted nice shot, Megan.
People are mad that she
Not
laughed
tweeted,
after
but-
she missed the shot.
Truth or whatever you call them.
KJ, were you mad?
Because it was some kind of sick joke, is what she said. Yeah. Although she wasn't the final miss. There was another miss after her that was the nail in the coffin. So, tough times.
How do you miss a goal?
It sounds like some
that?
of the
Like so-
chatter ahead of the elimination rounds where it was warranted. But still a Sophia Smith stan. I'll say that much.
Hang on. Dylan's got a question.
How are you that inaccurate with the? And this isn't like a woman's soccer thing. I
of course
do it too,
not.
But it's like what the? At least give the ball a chance to go win. She was not even close.
People miss sometimes. Didn't Harry Kane miss one in the last World Cup? Pretty significantly.
Just missed the goal. It happens. I'm just saying it's weird that it does.
Dylan, who famously went 10 for 10 against
7
Will.
for 10 or
I
whatever.
went 8 for 10 to be fair.
8 for 10 against Will.
I did miss one high, much like Megan Rapinoe did.
If it's me, I'm never trying to go high.
but
the embarrassment of launching it over is just too much for me.
Having said that, I've spent 0 days my entire life practicing the game of soccer, but I did hit one too high.
Okay.
So I don't know.
If it's me, I'm just toe punching it right at that fucker. I'm just, you know what, dude? It's knuckling at you. You better be ready. This thing might.
Knuckle puck time.
You ever toe punch it? They told you not to do that as a kid, but it was really fun.
I keep telling Parks to stop toe punching.
Really?
He's getting better at it.
Yeah. I guess I am not invested on either side. Again, it's like KJ said, the start times. I'm at the point with the small child that I can't wake up at 2 a.m. pretty much for anything, unless it's my dog who has to go outside and throw up some of the stick that he ate earlier or some shit.
Yeah, you were like 3 hours post Nate Diaz and Jake fight, so nobody's judging.
I should have just made it an all nighter. That would have been great. No, I will say.
What do you think those circles were?
It was weird to see. It always is. People like Americans, U.S. Americans, even like giddy that they lost. It's like, it seems weird. I mean, I guess go woke, go broke is what KJ always says.
Yeah, I got that in a rundown.
Can we do quickly final thoughts on quarterbacks so we can wrap this whole thing up? Overall thoughts in the last couple episodes, anything shocking? I know, Dylan, you've been done with this for a few weeks now, or just the show in general.
I thought the Super Bowl coverage was really, really cool, really well done. It was just badass to see like how much, insight we got like from the actual game itself, which was, obviously the biggest moment of their careers / season. So that was really cool. That Meek Mill song they played before the game that, obviously he's a Philly guy, and Mahomes went into about, he listens to that song before every game, but he chose not to for this game because it is it's a Philly guy and they're playing Philadelphia, and it mentions, Philly a couple times in the song, but then they end up playing it over the loudspeakers inside the stadium. That was cool. Made me want to go listen to that song over and over again, which I did afterward.
Was it Dreams and Nightmares?
It was Dreams and Nightmares. Really
Classic.
good song.
Notably, what they came out to against the Patriots at the Super Bowl that Dylan attended.
What?
Or not?
Oh.
Yeah, would be the Patriots. But yeah, that's what they. Whenever the Eagles won, whoever they beat
The song's
in
that
Minnesota, correct.
old? Oh, I
That
didn't
is
know
what they came on the field against, and then the other team came out with like Black Sabbath or some shit.
Okay.
And I just remember being like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dreams and Nightmares team.
Wasn't Big X the plug?
Really enjoyed that part, and then just Mahomes' new house. It's fucking sick. Little big for my taste, but sick.
Yeah. My Kirk Cousins guy now.
He's likable.
Uh,
Good dude.
I'd like maybe watching that. I was like, dang, should I feel bad about any of the segments we've done just dunking on this guy?
This show did him some favors. I think people are more behind him now.
I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's like a great quarterback.
No, he puts up numbers, man.
He does put up numbers.
He puts up numbers. Shame to see him go down in the first round like that. I mean, they had a really good regular season. They did, KJ.
What?
He's a weird guy, but he's a likable weird guy, and I think he means well. So yeah, I'm a fan.
Okay.
I think it's genuine. I have knocked this show for being the wives of quarterbacks, being that being the like almost as much as you're hearing from the quarterback, you're hearing from the spouse the entire season. I might have come around on Julie Cousins by the end of this, or whatever her name is. Questionable style decisions, but became a fan. I got what I was looking for in the Marcus Mariota story. And I thought that they played it extremely well because you did not get a lot of Arthur Smith early in the season. And it was very critical almost for like Mariota's reputation, which I mentioned earlier. Like everything I've ever thought and heard and known about Mariota is he's like a genuinely really nice guy. And the element of them following the family, the timing of him having the child right at the bye week, him getting benched, him speaking with Arthur Smith, who he knows really well, and then quote unquote leaving the team and that being the narrative, like that was tremendous content. It's not notable to like the season and how it played out, but I thought that was genuine, true, interesting information for, me as a viewer. Mahomes, my only note was we had a couple shots of the press box again, the Brittany cam. And I don't know that I saw it early in the season, but that empty seat has Jackson's name on it.
Yeah.
And that seat has been empty for every shot of this series. And who knows whose decision that was, but like those allegations didn't come out until after the season or playoff time of this year. But he was not in that chair earlier in the season. And then he's got a lot of people around him always. Like a lot. Relative to the other two, there's just a lot going on.
Did you see who turned down season 2 of quarterback?
Although Hurts, Dak, Tua, who else?
Justin Fields.
Okay.
Which I don't really blame anybody from turning it down. Like, especially if you're, I don't know, if you're unproven, like Mahomes, you got nothing else to prove. Do it. I actually kind of give props to a guy like Mariota for doing it. Because you don't know what kind of, now you got a better sense of what kind of access you have to give them and how intrusive it's going to be. But yeah, I saw some blowback on Twitter about people upset that they were turning quarterbacks were turning it down. I'm like, you really surprised? Like, you really think it's not enough to be an NFL quarterback? Like, you don't have enough distractions, and now you want to have a camera crew?
I'd be happy with a Geno Smith, either Herbert or Trevor Lawrence, and then give me a third person. I don't know who that might be. And maybe that's who all these people who've turned it down, like would all be a good balance against the two of them. But yeah, give me a third quarterback and I'd be happy. Geno would be great
Yeah.
given his history. And I think Herbert or Burrow would be on that same level, but I think he'd be, maybe the front runner of the pack.
Maybe Cooper Rush.
Maybe Cooper Rush. Last thing I will say about the show. After the Vikings' unceremonious loss to the Giants in the playoffs, Kirk Cousins is still driving himself home. Like,
Yeah,
I
that was a
drive
little
99% of the time in my family here as well. But I'm just saying, post game, you got to take this one, Julie.
Yeah. That's I thought, I don't know why. I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know. It is weird just seeing an athlete get in his car and just go drive home after like a win. It is just weird. It's a little I guess that makes sense if that's how it works. Usually that's how transportation and commuting go. But
Thinking that their car is parked somewhere in a parking lot this entire game.
Yeah, they're just like they're driving to work and then they drive home after. It's weird.
do you think he remote started it?
It's cold there, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to think.
No,
That's all I have.
sure they have climate control parking.
Well, overall, thumbs up to quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fun.
That was fun.
Liked it.
2 for 2 Netflix.
2 for 2. Let's run it back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's run it back.
Yeah, I kind of hit you with that.
I was like, is Dylan's laptop still open?
we got a shorty here. This segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. We think more females follow too much dip than males do, and we're okay with that.
Because we're hot.
Yeah, that's right. Kirkland branded golf clubs are hitting the market, and they look just like you'd expect them to. A direct quote from KJ Ellis: "You go woke, you go broke."
Mm-hmm.
Is Dylan
Facts.
verified on True Social? He is not. Drive the car, Julie, which was added.
I'm just going to start directly
7 seconds
addressing
ago.
Julie.
Julie Hampton is actually her name. She did not take the last name, which I don't know if you guys have a problem with that or not. If you care to address it.
No.
Flexibility. We are both upper Midwesterners. I'd like to talk to her about it.
Nice kick, Megan. Is that what it was? Nice shot.
Nice shot, Megan.
I'm going to be thinking about that for the next year.
Nice shot, Megan.
Nice shot, Megan. Come on. Just fucking leave it
Leave
alone,
it alone,
dude.
man.
Give her a
Love it.
break.
Every missed field goal to lose a game. It's a nice shot, Megan, from here on out. That's the new LGB.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, we will be back next week. We're going to get Mike Roach in here one of these days soon. We're going to talk recruiting, all things. But until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
I'm gonna come.